Hi guys, my name is Ryan Fujiwara and I'm a full stack developer that focuses primarily in JavaScript, Java, and Python. And today in this video I'm going to be demoing a new app that I wrote called GUI Auto UAT. Now GUI Auto UAT is a web app that allows users to quickly and easily create, organize, and run automated browser tests for the purposes of end-to-end user acceptance testing and behavior-driven development, or BDD. Now, why would you want browser automation tests? Well, there are many reasons, but basically it comes down to the fact that software needs to be tested from the user's perspective to ensure that it is working as expected. Traditionally, this has been accomplished manually by QA personnel. Now, this process of manual QA testing is expensive, error-prone, and basically it's just plain monotonous and boring. Now, there are many frameworks that have been created to accomplish this, like Protractor and Cucumber. These tools are great, and each of them has their own unique benefits and drawbacks. The one drawback that each one of them has is that unless you're a developer, it is really difficult to effectively write these types of tests. So with GUI Auto UAT, I wanted to make a web interface that would make it easier for a non-developer to be able to write and run these types of tests. Now, for those of you who are interested, GUI Auto UAT was created utilizing the mean stack and it was written on top of WebDriver.io. GUI Auto UAT is an open source with an MIT license and is available freely on GitHub. And in the video description, I've included a link where you can clone the repo so you can begin using this tool yourself. Now, the project README outlines instructions on how you can install the application locally. And maybe if there's interest later, I will create another video on how to install the application. Now, GUI Auto UAT provides a web interface creating features tests that are written in the Gherkin syntax. You can see here that there's a little bit of write-up on what the Gherkin syntax is here on the Cucumber.io website. Now, Gherkin is a great domain-specific language that is readable by non-technical users and can be used to describe most business use cases. It follows a basic given, when, then pattern. And in our GUI Auto UAT app that I created, we call that preconditions, actions, and expectations. So I think that's just about enough background information. Let's get started with the demo. Today, for the purpose of this demo, I'll be testing one of my other other projects, TechOps.com. Now, just a disclaimer, I'm going to do a little shameless self-promotion here. So if this bothers you, I'm sorry in advance, and I promise it'll be quick. Now, like I said, we'll be testing TechOps.com. That's TEQOPPS.com. And TechOps.com is a no-spam IT job board. Now, if you've ever utilized one of the other job sites out there, I won't name names, but you've probably experienced the endless spam emails and phone calls from recruiters that resulted. Now, TechOps.com was built specifically to provide a spam-free platform for IT professionals to discover and apply for new opportunities without having to deal with the unwanted spam. Now, we accomplish this by putting you, the IT job seeker, in control. No one can contact you or find you unless you initiate the conversation with them first. We also give you the ability to rate and review companies and recruiters to weed out the bad ones. The site also has a straightforward, comprehensive, advanced search filters and uses no ads whatsoever. If you're looking for a new gig or just interested to see what's out there, I encourage you to check it out. That's TEQOPPS.com. All right, so enough of that. Let's get on with the demo. So the site we'll be testing, like I said, is TechOps.com, and we'll be testing the URL, testing that the URL loads correctly with the proper site title. And then we also test the homepage search basic functionality is also working. So basically, that when we click the button here, the search results appear. All right, so the app is organized. The GUI Auto UAT app is organized in a hierarchical structure, where at the top of the hierarchy we have projects. And within those projects we have a number of test suites. And then within the test suites we have a number of features, and those features are made up of scenarios. So to begin with, let's go ahead and create our first project here. And we'll just call it TechOps.com. Go ahead and create that. Now once we've created that, our next step is to go ahead and select that project to begin working in. You can see, just click there, and you can see that it'll show you where your navigation structure here at the top. now that we have the project selected, our next step is to go ahead and create our suites. So our first suite, the suite that we're going to be using, we're just going to call it our home page functionality. Go ahead and create that. All right, so now we see that there. So let's go ahead and select that suite to begin working in. Once again, you see it shows up here. And then now that we have that selected, our next step is to go ahead and create our features. All right, so we'll go ahead and choose the features over here. And our first feature title is, let's just call it the home page title. All right, and then we'll create a file name that's going to be created, and these need to be unique. So we'll call it home page title feature. And then our story that we're going to be going with this particular feature is something like, as a user of techops.com, I should be able to load the URL correctly. All right, that looks good. Let's go ahead and create that. You can see it shows up here. And then our next feature that we're going to be creating is the search feature. So let's just go ahead and create another one, and this one we'll call home page search. And the file name, let's call home page search feature file. Once again, it has to be unique. And the story for this one, as a user of techops.com, I should be able to search for jobs from the home page. Looks good. Let's go ahead and create that. All right, that all looks good. All right, so our next step is to create our individual scenarios, test scenarios that will be ran within this feature. So let's go ahead and start with the title. We'll select it here. You see it shows up here. Now we can move into our scenarios and create the different scenarios for this feature. So our homepage title, the first scenario that we're going to create is that the homepage title is correct. So we're going to call this title is correct. All right, so now we have our preconditions that we're going to move on to. And you can see that we have our scenario preview over here. So our first precondition is that we want to open the URL. So you can see here that this is our step that we're creating, and it has a variable it's required, which is the individual domain that we're going to be opening, which is https www.techops.com. You can see that we'll just go ahead and check our preview. We see that everything looks good here. We'll go ahead and add that step to our scenario preview. We're going to add the step. You see it shows up given I open the URL, www.techops.com. And then we'll finish our preconditions and move on. Now, the next step would be to have an action, but since we're not actually doing anything on the page other than just checking the title, we can skip this. And now we have our expectations. We'll go ahead and choose from our list, and we expect that the title is techops.com for the pipe, the no spam IT job site. All right, looks good. That all looks good here. Let's go ahead and add that to our scenario preview. Now we can see what I have here. Given I open, the title is correct on this. Given I open the URL https.techops.com, then I expect that the title is techops.com, the no spam IT job site. That all looks good. Let's go ahead and save that. You see it shows up here. Now we expect that to succeed. Now if for any reason you wanted to see those steps again, you can click here and that'll bring up the scenario details, and you can see that what we just created. That looks good. All right, so now I expect this to pass. The next step, I'm going to create another one where I expect it to fail so you can see what the results look like when it fails. All right, so this one we're going to call title is correct failure. All right, let's go ahead and select our precondition, which is we open the URL. Our URL is www.techops.com. That step looks good. Let's go ahead and add that to our scenario preview. See it shows up over here. Our preconditions are finished. Move on. Once again, we can skip the action because we're not actually doing anything on the page. We'll go ahead and finish the actions and move on to our expectations. And then we'll expect the title, and then we'll put some title that we expect to fail. Let's call it some bad title. That looks good. Let's go ahead and add it over here. See our scenario preview. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and save that. And now we have 2 scenarios for the home page title feature. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the search feature. We'll go ahead and move back to the features I mean. We'll go ahead and select the home page search feature to work with. You can see the changes up here. We'll move into our scenarios, and then we'll begin creating our scenarios for the home page search feature. Now this particular scenario is for the search functionality, so we'll go ahead and call this, search results are displayed. There we go. That could be anything you want, but you want to try to keep it along the lines simple and along the lines of what you're testing. So the first step is to get our precondition. Once again, we're going to open the URL. The URL we're going to open is www.techops.com. We look at our preview. We can see that that looks good here. We'll go ahead and add that step. That's all we need to do for the preconditions to set up the test. The next thing we're going to do is move on to our actions. Now, since this is a single page application, we need to go ahead and pause for a few seconds to wait for the JavaScript to load. And you can come down here and see that I paused for n number of milliseconds. So let's just go ahead and pause for 4,000 milliseconds or 4 seconds, just to be safe and let everything load up correctly. And you can see that it's added over here. Let's go ahead and add another one where we actually click the button. So let's find it. I click on the button here. And the button is going to have, we use CSS selectors for this. So if it's an ID that you're selecting on, you'll prefix it with this. But this one is a class, and the class is called search button. All right, so we check our step scenario here, step preview here, and everything looks good, and we'll go ahead and add that. Now when we do that, now that it gets added over here, everything looks good so far. And the next thing we need to do is we also need to wait a little bit to wait for the application to talk to the database and get its result and parse the result and things like that. So we'll go ahead and pause for a little while as well. So we'll go ahead and pause for just say a second, which is 1,000 milliseconds. That all looks good. I'll add that over here. And we can see our scenarios. The search results are displayed. Given I open the URL techops.com, when I pause for 4 seconds to wait, and I click on the search button with that CSS selector, and I pause for 1 second to wait for it to happen, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the expectations. And we expect an element to be visible, which is the search results. And we'll go ahead and we find that here from our list. And I expect that the element, this is a HTML element, and the HTML element is going to have a tag called app home search results. Since it's not a class or an ID, it doesn't need a prefix. It's just a plain Jane HTML element. And that all looks good so far. We can check our step preview. We see that here. All right, so let's go ahead and add that. And now we can see our finished scenario in the preview here. The scenario search results are displayed. Given I open the URL www.techops.com, and when I pause for 4,000 milliseconds or 4 seconds, and I click on the button with that CSS search button, and I pause for 1 second to wait for it to happen, then I expect that the element app home search results should become visible. That all looks good. Let's go ahead and save our scenario. Once again, if we want to see that again, we can open the details and look at it here. Looks good. All right, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and run these. And what you do is you go back to your projects, and from the techops.com, you can see that we click the little play button here, and that'll run the features. Go ahead and run the features. This is running our test now. It opens up, you see at the bottom that it opens up some Chrome instances, because this is what it's going to be testing in Google Chrome. Does its thing. Give it a little while to finish running its tests. It's finishing up the tests as the Chrome windows start to disappear. All right, now we can see our test successfully ran for the project. And now let's go ahead and you can see over here that also the date and time that we ran the test results show up over here. And let's go ahead and see the results of those tests. All right, so everything is as expected. The results show the project of the tests that are run, the date that you started the test, the date and time you finished the test. And we'll go ahead and look at our results. And you can see that for the scenario, search results are displayed in the browser that it was used, Chrome. You can see that everything passed. Now we'll move on to the title is correct. And we also see that it passed. Both tests, I opened this, it saw that it verified the title. And in this one for the failure, we can see what happens is it shows the tests that are passed and then the failure, and then it also shows the reason why it failed as well as the stack trace. In this case, it expected the title to be some bad title, but it actually found that the title was techops.com, the no spam IT job site. This all looks great, looks good. This is all saved in the database. The next thing, so that's all good. But if you also want to run this for, say, Jenkins or some other CI/CD deployment management thing, the next thing what you would do is you go ahead and click this button, a little lightning bolt over here. And what this does is it generates the feature files. And then from the command line, you can go over here and run the test from the command line using, go back, and you can npm run test features. And this will run the same features that it did before. And this can now you can do this from the command line, so you can run it in a CI/CD platform. Okay, that's it, guys. Once again, like I said, that's GUI Auto UAT. I hope you guys like it and find it useful. Like I said, in another future video, if there's interest, I'll go ahead and create another video where we actually go through the steps of installing it locally. But like I said, the README file has just about everything here. All right, guys, have a good day. Thanks for watching.